This is the Johnny's Pizza House Friday Night Blitz, brought to you by Car Giant Auto Group.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for staying up late with us here on this Friday night. Hope you've had a great season with us, and we're far from over, all right? I just want to be sentimental, share my appreciation with you. As if you're just now joining us, you've missed a great show so far. We got North DeSoto head coach Dennis Dunn with us. He'll be joining us again in just a few moments. But first, let's recap the show a little bit. If you're joining us late, with our Rebath Game of the Week, the highlights of Loyola and North Caddo, the District 1 2A clash. Flyers looking to remain unbeaten. Excuse me. Oh.
Let's talk about this one a little bit, John. I mean,
Thank you,
this North Caddo team, you know, we've had a certain expectation when it comes to, especially this offense so far this season. And early in this game, it looked like, hey, all of the weapons were being put to full use. And then at some point in the third quarter, something clicks, something changes. Here's KJ Black here. It was really after this play.
Yes, it was.
Something clicks, something changes. And you said it, John. Loyola did the same thing last year. Second half of the season, they're a second half team.
Yes, they are. Mike Green, in his 2 years there, has got this team playing exceptional district football. And again, just being honest, I don't know what makes this Loyola team special. You know, last year you had Jacob Lafitte, who was one of the best athletes in the entire state leading that team, to go along with a few key seniors. This year you've got Tafada at quarterback, but he's not the same athlete Lafitte was.
Well, he's obviously doing some pretty special things.
But Loyola, they're scrappy, man. And actually, Coach Kavanaugh for North Caddo, he talked about how tough they play when I talked to him earlier this week.
Pretty tough right here.
And they proved that. They proved that tonight. I mean, this is a massive victory. They do all the little things correct. And you know what? They were down 16-7 early. It was going the way I think a lot of people thought it was going to go. And Loyola just kept plucking away. And their reward is a huge win over North Caddo.
Moving on now, Houghton, like we said earlier, it's very strange to score 70-something points and lose.
Yep.
So you imagine that maybe they had some extra motivation tonight. This Houghton offense coming to life here late in the season.
Look, Colin Rains is extremely improved. This is not the same Colin Rains that we saw last year. He is a much better passer. And this playbook is getting opened up with plays like these. 70-plus points last week, 56 this week. The most impressive part about this win is this is not the same Natchitoches Central team from the start of the season. B.J. Young is back. They've put together a couple quality wins. And Houghton goes out and beats them by 30-plus tonight in what is going to go down as a very impressive win. I'll tell you what, I would not want to play Houghton in the playoffs. This is going to be a really tough out.
I 100% agree with you. Bird versus Southwood. Talk about, you know, kind of a strange season for Bird. Obviously, they kind of have the lull in the middle whenever they lose Lake Lambert, and they struggled a little bit. But obviously, you see Lake here. Lake's back, and Lake's doing Lake Lambert things. We've seen it the last couple of weeks. He's just a special player. He adds this dimension to your offense. He's a home run hitter. It's a weird thing to say. He can take it to the house from any part of the field. We've seen it now week after week after week. And then guys like this, Dixon Poirier, they've got the stable of running backs. And it seems now that, hey, you know, they're putting things back together a little bit. It is a Bird team that you don't want to face in the first round of play.
Well, of course not. But, look, the issue is going to be the playoffs. Because last year we thought Bird had that deep team, and then Brother Martin took it to him in the postseason.
That was kind of an unfortunate match.
It was an unfortunate draw
for the first
round. But
round.
this may be the deepest Bird team in quite a while. They are extremely healthy right now. They're looking good, and they showed it tonight against Southwood. Now, Mansfield and Winfield. This was a game that the weather affected. The Wolverines, Darryl Barbe, first year there, they're still putting the building blocks together.
They definitely are, John. We saw it last week, kind of it all coming together for the first time this season against Lakeside.
Yep.
And I think the biggest thing is, especially whenever you kind of commit to the offense they're running, they're double tight. They're saying, hey, we want to run the football most of the time. From kind of talking to Coach Barbe, I've talked to him one time at the midpoint this season. He said, hey, after the first 3 or 4 games, I realized I think we needed to kind of incorporate the pass a little bit more. You saw Nick, I think there was Nick Nick Bailey there making a catch. Or
yep.
I believe so.
They got Keldrick Thomas there playing quarterback. Great athlete.
So they've got these kids. Coach knows, hey, we got to find a way to utilize them. And I think when it's all said and done, a lot of growing being done by this Wolverine squad this year. I think they'll be fine when it's all said and done.
Evangel on their new turf tonight, taking on Huntington. Cam Evans not suiting up, and it's tough when you don't have your all-world quarterback. Jamarian Washington got the start for Huntington. You were at this game, Wesley. Your thoughts?
It's one of these situations where you're playing a backup quarterback, and you see they were kind of hesitant to throw the football. This was the first pass attempt of the night for Mr. Washington. And look, obviously he's the future of the position for this program, so it's good to see him go ahead and get a varsity start if you want to play the glass half full game here.
Right.
And look, this is a game that Huntington had a chance to win. You see Solomon there. He's pushed out right at the 1. He scores here. They're in this football game. Outside of the possession, 4th and goal, the first possession of the game, they don't get points on that drive. That ends up being crucial in this one.
Yep.
It's hard to take anything maybe morally positive out of it because Coach Dennis obviously very competitive. They want to win football games. But here's Washington here. He's going to learn from this. Look at the speed. Look at the athleticism. Just bad ball security. Balls popped out, and that's kind of the game right there that takes another possession away. But let's talk about Evangel. Huge win for the Eagles tonight, like you said earlier. Probably one of the biggest wins in the last couple years for them.
Yeah, it's been a tough couple years, and this was a game that they have not won the last couple years. So this is a good win over a team that was still fighting for a district championship. Evangel, they're in an interesting classification too with playoffs. They're actually going to get a really good draw come playoff time. Now Green Oaks in district haven't won a district game since 2020, and they got close tonight. The last time Green Oaks has been leading a district game in the fourth quarter was 2020. But they were up 14-12 in the second half, and again, the growing pains come back to bite the Giants.
The growing pains come back to bite the Giants, and I think it's one of these situations where if you ask Coach Lewis, it's definitely not a hard problem. These kids fight, these kids play, but I think we're going to see, later this upcoming week, they're having a meeting about an on-campus stadium. I think
the renders look awesome.
The renders look incredible, and I think if you ask Coach Lewis, he'll tell you firsthand, we need to start building some pride in this program. It's hard to do that whenever you're having to go and share other stadiums and share facilities with people. So we'll obviously have more on that meeting later in the week. But yes, Green Oaks, tough game for them tonight. We got some scores now from Oklahoma.
Broken Bow, 46-22. They are now in first place in their district. And then Valiant gets the win over Antlers, who should be the Deer, but they are the